undercard. As always, I'm your host, Jeff Patello. Welcome on into another fight prediction. We're going to be breaking down, well, not breaking down, we're going to be giving you fight predictions for this weekend's event, UFC Vegas 20. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Cyril Gane. That one is going to be a very exciting fight. There should be lots of fireworks in both the and the co-main events. But before we get into the main card, we are going to get into the undercard. We're going to start with we're going to start there and then work all the way up. I actually had a little bit more time this week, so we're going to go and explore the undercard and see what fights we like and who I think we should put our money on. Okay, so for the first fight of the evening, we have got a interesting one. We've got two savvy vets in here. We've got Dustin Jacoby versus Maxime Grisham. Now, the odds have this one in favor of Dustin. He's currently sitting at a minus 180. This is a bout in the light heavyweight division, so these boys have got definitely some KO power in their hands. In fact, if you aren't familiar with Dustin used to compete in Glory, which is kickboxing, so it's all striking there. So the man's got some KO power. He's got obviously some great striking ability. However, he is in tough against Grisham. Grisham is has been in this sport for a very long time. He boasts a very impressive record. He's got more than 30 career pro MMA fights, right? So he's definitely no slouch. He does have great striking ability himself, so he's not going to be pedestrian when it comes to standing toe-to-toe with Jacoby. Where I think he's got the advantage over Jacoby would be on the ground. I believe Grisham has got 11 submission wins, right? So worst case scenario, if he is not liking the way that the striking game is going, he can easily switch this up and take it to the ground and submit Jacoby. As mentioned, Vegas odds have got this for Jacoby. I think they're expecting this one to stay on the feet. However, I don't like the odds in this one. I'm going to go against the grain, and I would go and put my money on Grisham for the win. So the second fight of the prelims is a bout in the bantamweight division. This one is against Vince Cochero versus Rowan Lawrence. Currently the odds are sitting in favor for Lawrence. He's coming in at a minus 163. I'm not too familiar with either of these two fighters, to be honest with you guys. However, I am familiar with one of the camps in which Lawrence trains out of, and he trains with the legendary American Top Team, right? So he's got a solid base, solid support system over there. A lot of legends to come fight out of that camp. A lot of big names coming out of that camp, right? So I think that's the big reason as to why he's already coming in as the slight favorite in this one. He's also supporting he also sports a good record. I believe he is 7-1, so he is a young, bright prospect. It'll be interesting to see this kid in action and see exactly what he's got. I believe he is primarily a ground fighter, but I could be wrong about that. I know he's currently on a 3-fight win streak. Lawrence is. So, that's another thing that he's got going in favor for him. As for his opponent, Vince, he in his last 5, he's only 2-3. So, I would definitely not be putting my money on that kid. As I says, one of the other reasons is I'm not familiar with the camp that he fights out of. Now, that's not really saying too much, but I feel with what Lawrence has got going on already, he's already riding that 3-fight win streak. He's already got too many good things going for him, and that's why I like him in this fight. Like I says, he's a American Top Team product, 3-fight win streak, and it just hasn't been going well for Vince in his last 5. So, my money is with Lawrence on this one. Okay, so this next fight is a catchweight fight. And there is currently no odds on this fight, which is pretty interesting. But, if you look at these 2 fighters, it's Rowan Barcelos versus Marcelo Hoja. And, Barcelos has only lost 1 fight, so one would think that once the odds start to open up on this fight, that the odds are going to come in heavily for Barcelos. Now, that's not to say that that Hoja is going to be completely out of his element. He might not have the record that Barcelos has, but don't get me wrong, this is like one of the fights that's going to be talked about in the on Monday once everything is all said and done. I guarantee you that this is going to have some fireworks. These guys are going to be going out there and trading some big blows. I don't really see this one going to the ground. If you look at the record between these 2 gentlemen, Hoja has got, I believe he's got 8 submission victories, right? And his opponent Barcelo has only been submitted once. And in fact, the last time he had lost was all the way back in 2014, right? So I don't really expect this one to go to the ground. If you like striking, this is definitely a fight that you want to watch. You don't want to miss. This is going to be a excellent scrap. However, I do think that Barcelos is the better striker of the 2 gentlemen, and I don't see this one going the distance at all. I see Barcelos headhunting and going for a KO. Needless to say, though, this is going to be a fun scrap, and as I've mentioned before, it's a catch weight, right? So this isn't really going to affect either gentleman's rankings. But yeah, you definitely don't want to miss that. And then after that, I guarantee you, it's going to be a good, fun, entertaining fight, and then we're going to get another fun and entertaining fight right after that, and it's going to be in the light heavyweight division. It's William Knight versus Alonzo Manfield, and I am so pumped for this one. I out of all the fights that are on the card for tonight, that's including the main event, this is the one that I am most looking forward to. There is going to be fireworks. Someone is going to go to sleep in this one. As for breaking this fight down, Manfield has been on a 2-fight skid recently, and he had a vicious knockout in his last one, right? So I think he's got a I think it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be a little bit gun shy, after getting vicious KO'd as he did in his last one. Sometimes you become a little gun shy, right? And it was I believe it was his last fight where he fought Ovent St. Preux, and he ended up getting knocked out, right? And you wonder how much that's going to play psychologically on him, right? Because the guy that he's fighting, Williams, is a beast himself, and he's got mad KO power, right? I think this is a very smart move by the UFC by putting this fight on the regular cable. It's going to get a lot of people excited for more UFC events, and hopefully there's going to be enough eyes, casual eyes watching that they're going to want to pay for some pay-per-view events, right? Smart move. Like I said, it's going to be 2 back-to-back fights that are going to be amazing. However, I don't think we picked a winner in this one just yet. Realistically, the odds makers have this one even in this one, right? Even though Manfield is on a 2-fight skid, it's just the style of these two men. These guys have got some heavy hands, and they're coming out to a bang, right? So realistically, I mean, if you're putting money down on this fight, right, like, I would just stay away from this at all costs, right? This is a toss-up, 50-50, I don't want nothing to do with this. But we do make predictions on this show, so gun to my head, I'm picking William Knight for a KO victory. Okay, so this one next, we go into the women's bantamweight division, and this one is a bout between Alexa Davis versus Sabine Mazo. Now, the odds for this one are coming in heavily already in Sabine's favor. She is currently sitting at a minus 240, and there's clearly some reasoning behind that too, right? Alexa Davis's last fight was all the way back in 2019. It's almost been a year and a half since we last seen her fight. She's also currently on a 3-fight losing skid, and it's a hard thing to have all that time off and then try and come back, but you never know. It could have done her some good. She could have had a big reset, refocus, and she could come out there strong, right? You never know. Alexa Davis will be Sabine's biggest test to date. It'll be the biggest name on Sabine's record if she can get a victory over her opponent. I think the one glaring thing in this fight is there is a huge noticeable age gap difference. There is a 13-year age difference between these two ladies, right? And but with that age experience also comes a ton of experience, right? And Alexa Davis has got a ton of that. She has got 30 pro fights under her belt, where Sabine's just still kind of fresh into her MMA thing. She's only got 10 fights. This will be her 11th fight, I believe. I guess in this fight, it's going to be more so, will Alexa be able to take Sabine to the ground, right? And even if she does get Sabine to the ground, it's not going to be a easy task, as Sabine is well versed in jiu-jitsu, and she's got some good ground defense, and I believe she's got a submission win in her last fight, if I'm not wrong. But you know, I think this is kind of like Sabine's fight to lose, right? I think so long as she's patient out there and picks her shots, right, she should be able to get a easy decision win, right? You know, so hopefully she doesn't get too excited, but you never know. Her youth could get the better of her in this one if she gets a little too comfortable on the feet and makes a mistake and ends up going to the ground with Davis. One would think, even though that she's comfortable on the ground, that she doesn't want to gamble on the ground at all, right? Well, why take the risk, right? If you've got the better striking, you want to keep it up standing and you know, roll the dice there. But yeah, for those reasons, that's why I'm gonna pick Sabine for this win. You know, it's just age, right? The big layoff for Alexa Davis is cause for concern for me. And yeah, you know, and she's currently on a 3-fight losing skid, you know. I hate picking against a fellow Canadian, but you know, if I'm laying money down, I'm going to pick Sabine all the way. All right, so this next one is in the welterweight division. It's Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Hamzad Kuramagomedov. That's a tongue twister. Now, odds are coming in early for Hamzad. He is currently minus a 155. Hamzad's a very young prospect. He is 24 years old. He's currently undefeated. He's got a 8-0 record. This will be Hamzad's UFC debut. So you never know if the bright lights will play a factor in this one, but I can't imagine so. Let me see. He's a Team Couture product, right? So, you know, that's another one of those legendary MMA camps, and he's gonna need to lean on all that experience, because his opponent that he is fighting is a very experienced journeyman in this welterweight division. He's been fighting for quite some time. However, though, he has been a little up and down as of late. In fact, in his last 5 fights, he's only currently sitting with a 2-3 record. In his last fight, he got subbed pretty quick in the first round. But you know, this is a big step up in competition for Hamzad, and if he manages to get a victory over Alex Oliveira, you know, that is a big feather in his cap. That's a big name to add, and you know, it seems like the UFC is possibly trying to launch this kid into superstardom, and you know, that's there's nothing wrong with that. You always got to find superstars out there. But yeah, I'm gonna pick you know, Hamzad to win this one. There's no reason not to pick against him. He's got good striking, good wrestling. good base. Another, I think he's like from Dagestan originally, right? Another one of these Russian top prospects, right? So it's hard to bet against him, and you just never know what you're gonna get out of Oliveira, right? So this could be something that really interests him, and he comes out there and he comes out guns blazing because maybe he wants to rain on that kid's parade a little bit, right? And this is another one of those fights, by all means, like I would kind of stay away from because of that reason too, right? You just don't know exactly what Oliveira is going to show up. And, this reminds me of like Sergio Pettis, right? Kind of at the tail end of their career, all kinds of skill in the world. You just never know who's going to show up, right? So, I definitely agree with the odds being in Magmedov's favor. But as I mentioned before, if you're betting real money on this, I'd just stay away from this one by all means. Oh, excuse me. All right, so our next bout shifts to the lightweight divisions, and this one is against Alexander Hernandez versus Thiago Moyas. Hernandez is coming in already at a minus 200. Both men are currently 3-2 in their last 5, so there's not much that can be kind of taking away from there. In this bout, we do have a classic striker versus a grappler. Both men are still very young. I guess this one's going to be, can Thiago take Hernandez to the ground? And if so, one would think that this favors Thiago. However, I just don't see Hernandez being, a very easy pushover. As mentioned before, Thiago. Well, I haven't mentioned before about Thiago, but I've mentioned that American Top Team is a legendary camp, and Thiago Moyes fights out of that camp. So he's definitely got that going for him. They've definitely got all kinds of ground skill, ground and pound. I just don't know if he's going to be able to get his opponent Hernandez to the ground there and keep him there. Even if he does get him there, will he be able to hold him down and keep him there? I think Hernandez is just a little too big for Moyes in this fight, and I think his size is going to end up creating problems for him. If this one stays standing, and it most likely will, it's definitely going to favor Hernandez, and Thiago could possibly end up getting knocked out in this one. And for that reason too, right, I'm going to pick Hernandez in this one, even though that I'm not too familiar with the academy that he trains out of, right? It's Omaha Academy or something like that, I think, or Ohana Academy. I just think he's just a little bit too big for Thiago in this one, and he's gonna cause all kinds of problems for him. So yeah, my money's going to be on Hernandez for this one. Ooh. Tell you what, don't be sleeping on that on that prelim card. This is another one of those sneaky cards. They don't have a lot of big names on them, but like I told you about 2 weeks ago, don't sleep on that card as well. This is another one that's going to be very, very good. There's probably only like a handful of fights that are kind of like, yeah, but you'd be surprised how they're going to turn out, Definitely want to tune in early, because you've got a early first fight that's going to be worth watching, and from there on out they're going to get better and better and better. So make sure you tune in early. You don't want to miss any of the action. All right, so we finally are going to get into the main card in this one, and to open things up, we're going to go into the flyweight division, and this is about between Alex Caceres versus Kevin Kroom. So far, the odds are in favor for Alex Caceres. He's coming in at a -200. Both men are currently on a 3-fight winning streak. Kroom's biggest win to date, however, though, I would say, is Derek Minor, which he just fought recently in last week's card, and he had that easy decision victory against Charles Rose, in case some of y'all forgot. As for Alex, his last 4 losses, They came by some pretty big names, and I'm gonna break down some of those names for you. He lost to Kroom Gracie via submission. I mean, coming against a Gracie, you better have world-class jiu-jitsu, right? And not too many people have the skills on the ground as that family does, right? So that was a tough battle. He had a close split decision loss against Wang Zhang. Right, he's currently on I think like a 6-7 fight win streak himself. Right, he's tearing it up. He lost a submission. He lost via submission to Jason Knight, which Jason Knight has got, I think, like 10 submissions or something crazy like that. Another submission expert, world class. And Yardier Rodriguez versus split decision, right? And all those guys, all those names that I've mentioned have gone on to do some pretty big things recently, right? So, what I'm getting at is that, Caceres hasn't really been out of any of those fights. And, he once got off to a very, very hot start in the UFC. He was a product of the Ultimate Fighter. Didn't win. Came in, I believe he was like one of those runner-up positions. But he got off to a hot start. Then he cooled off. But it seems like he's starting to kind of like figure it out and put things together, And he's always managed to improve, and I like him in this fight, This will be Kroom's biggest name to date, his stiffest competition to date. I think this is going to be a very entertaining scrap. I don't see this one going to the ground at all, to be honest with you. I expect this one to be a striking battle. And it'll be a fun little tilt between these two gentlemen, that's for sure. I am going to stick with the odds makers on this one. I do like Caceres to win. I think, like I said, he's the more experienced fighter. He's fought the more experienced men in this division. And, I think he's just a little too fast for Kroom. But... and needless to say, this is going to be another entertaining scrap, and a very fun way to open up the main card, that's for sure. So another entertaining scrap. This one's a bit of a rubber match, and it is between Angela Hill versus Ashley Yoder. This is in the women's strawweight division, and currently Angela Hill is enjoying a very nice lead at a -350. This is your classic striker versus grappler match. Now, these women both have met early on in each other's careers, and a lot of time has changed since then. You can best believe that Angela has gotten a lot better takedown defense, and that Yoder has gotten a lot better with her striking. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out again, but I could definitely see as to why Vegas odds are so heavily in favor of Angela in this one, you know. Hill did win the their last match between the two, if I hadn't mentioned that before. You know, if you look at Hill's last two fights, she lost some close fights against you know, two very impressive women in that division, you know, Claudia Godelia and Michelle Watterson, right? They're definitely no slouches. And she lost those split decision, right? You know, so she was in those fights the whole time. Had she won those two, she'd currently be on a 5-fight win streak. You know, Angela is definitely one of my favorites. She's a fun fighter to watch. She is a entertaining individual as well. And yeah, I wouldn't get off of that. That's for sure. I think Angela Hill is going to take this one easily, and you know, it's that last match between those two kind of still weighs heavily on my mind, even though that they've changed. You know, sometimes things just don't change, right? Yeah, but it'll be a fun little scrap, that's for sure. I can't wait for those two to throw down. Speaking of can't wait, this fight was supposed to go down, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's the bantamweight division. It is finally, we're going to be getting Pedro Munoz versus Jaime Rivera. And you know, so far the odds are pretty close in this. Rivera is enjoying a -150 lead currently. Of the two men here, Pedro's last 5, he is currently 3-2. And he's currently on a 2-fight skid, and his last 2 fights, he lost a split decision versus Frankie Edgar, and he also had a loss against Aljamain Sterling. As for his opponent Rivera, in his last 5, he's only 2-3, so he's got a worse record than Pedro. And however, he's currently on a 1-win fight streak. Of the 3 losses that he's had in his last 5, those also came to some pretty big names. One of those big names being Marlon Moraes, the other one being Petr Yan, and he also lost to Aljamain Sterling. So both these men had both lost to a superior grappler in Aljamain. You know, if this fight goes the distance, you know, one would think that this favors Rivera. You know, Munoz got some good hands. I'd say he's got some better ground skills. However, his opponent Rivera has never been submitted before. So I imagine this one's going to stay on the feet, and this is going to be a slugfest. You know, does someone get knocked out in this one? Maybe, maybe not. Like I says, I think this ends up going the distance, and as mentioned before, that favors Rivera. So my smart money would say bet Rivera in this one. All right, so we next get into the women's flyweight division, and this one is against Montana Del La Rose versus Maria Bruno Silva, or Myra Bruno Silva, my bad. Vegas odds currently have this one pretty close, as Silva is currently -154. You know, I'm surprised the odds makers are giving lots of love to Rosa in this one. It's surprising because Silva is 7-1. She also trains out of the legendary Shootbox Academy. If you're not familiar with Shootbox, that's where like Anderson Silva came out of. Mauricio Shogun, who all the murderers come out of there, right? Rafael Cordero is the one that coaches, is the striker. He was like recently working with Mike Tyson. Cyborg, right? Chris Cyborg it comes from that camp as well. Vanderlei Silva, right? So that is just a murderous training camp there, and you best believe that not only does she possess striking skills, but she possesses a world-class ground game as well. Maybe not a submission expert, but she does have some submission victories under her belt, but she'll definitely be able to defend on the ground. And Rosa only really has a ground game, right? I don't see that, I can't imagine that she's got the hands to stand there and want to trade with Silva, right? This is your classic striker versus grappler match in this one. And, unfortunately, when she just won't be able to submit Silva. I'd be very, very surprised if she does, and I'm surprised that the odds aren't more heavily favored in her favor, to be honest with you. Rosa has still yet to get a TKO victory or a KO victory at all. She's still a young fighter, but only a submission fighter at this point, right? As I said, I just think Silva's ground game and striking game is just far superior than that of her opponent, De La Rose. And this should be a very, very easy win for Silva. This is pretty much like her fight to lose, to be honest with you. And even though that the odds are pretty close in this fight right now, I would go and bet Silva for the win easily. Yeah, I definitely like that one. Now we're gonna get into the co-main event, and this one is set at the light heavyweight division. This is about between Nikita Kirloff versus Magmed Akalev. I am terrible with these names. Magmed versus Nikita. And odds makers have this, very, very one-sided. Magmed is enjoying a minus 340 lead right now. And he's one of those Dagestani fighters, right? He's 14-1. It's been I think like 4 or 5. He's currently on a 5-fight win streak. So it's been a while since he's lost. He's riding sky high right now. As for his opponent, Kirloff has gotten some big wins against some big names against like Johnny Walker and Ovince St. Preux. He's also lost a split decision to Glover Teixeira, and he did get submitted by Jan Blachowicz. And the only reason that I bring up Kirloff's wins and losses there is just to demonstrate that he has fought top tier opponents in the light heavyweight division before, and Magomedov has yet to get into the upper echelon of that division. So it's easy to say that this will be his his toughest test to date. This is what makes this fight very, very interesting. If if Magomedov manages to get this one, this will be a this will help launch him into superstardom. Kirloff's definitely supporting a lot more experience, and the only other I guess toughest opponent that Magomedov has faced is the guy that's going to be opening up this whole fight card and on the prelims, which is Maxime. What's his name? Grisham, and he ended up getting a KO victory over him, and they were fighting for a championship title, I believe. I don't remember the organization. I believe it was somewhere in Europe, as both these men are from the Eastern Bloc. Magomedov is still a young talent. He's 28 years old, and you can definitely tell that they're trying to make a push with this fight here and propel him into superstardom. I would say that this fight is a lot closer than the odds currently have him. I don't expect Magomedov to make quick, easy work of Kirloff. Kirloff is definitely a complete fighter. He's got striking abilities, and he's got a good, solid ground base too, right? So it'll be interesting to see where this fight stays. I do remember Magomedov's last two fights, even though one of those ones were controversial versus I forget his name. His nickname's the Hulk, Ion or Ian or something like that. I know there was a bit of controversy in their first fight. However, clearly in their second fight, he showed that what had happened in the first one wasn't no fluke, right? And I made quick work of him yet again, and KO'd him twice. But yeah, my money would be with Magomedov on this one. I'm not betting too against what the odds are in these fight cards, to be honest with you guys. I'm pretty much going with keeping it pretty safe, that's for sure. So yeah, so that's the co-main event. And as for the main event, this one is in the heavyweight division. This is against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, Biggie Boy, against Ciryl Gane. And, odds have got this one coming in Cyryl's favor. He is currently sitting at a minus 265. This is going to be Gane's first crack at the upper echelon of the heavyweight division, and this dude is one scary piece of talent. He is a Frenchman fighting out of the MMA factory camp there. And I don't know if many of you are familiar with the Francis Ngannou story, but after he landed in France, he ended up training at the MMA factory and eventually found his way into the UFC. So clearly what I'm getting at is that, this MMA factory is legit. They produce some good talents, and they produce some very good heavyweight talents. And as good as Francis Ngannou is, Ciryl Gane might be even better. He is a complete MMA fighter. He possesses great striking ability. He might have the power that Rozenstruik has, but he does have speed. And he does have a ton of skill. And if he is in trouble on the feet, he has the ability to take you to the ground and submit you. So, you know, he is he's definitely the future of the heavyweight division, you know, and still relatively young for a heavyweight. He is undefeated. I believe he is 7-0, 3 wins via KO, 3 wins via submission, and you know, it'll be a it's going to be a very fun fight, this one, you know. I don't see this one. I see someone get knocked out in this one, that's for sure. You know, and you know, it's no knock against Rosenstruck or anything, you know, but the odds, they don't reflect, you know, too well on him because well, I know he's only got that 1 loss, but if you look at that fight against Alistair Overeem, he pretty much was losing that fight until like the very last second, and he caught him with a nasty shot and KO'd him. So you know, he's barely a 10-1 fighter, but you know, he's no slouch. You know, he's I believe he's also an American Top Team product, right? Or he fights with one of these camps out in the States there. He does have lots of power, and you know, in this heavyweight division, when you get into these slugfests, you just never know, right? I mean, like I said, that fight that he had against Alistair Overeem is a clear indication of what can happen in this division, right? Just like that, things can change, right? So you know, there's always that little bit of a gamble there, you know. Ideally, I mean, I would stay away from this one just because of that fact there that, you know, someone could go to sleep. Either of these men could, right? But, you know, I just think that Surreal has just got too much skill to allow something foolish like that to happen. And if he is in danger at any point, he will not hesitate to take this thing to the ground. And yeah, my money is for Gane to win this one pretty easily, and you know, possibly with a big KO victory. You know, fights I like in the prelims. No, I like this Alex Oliveira versus Hamzad fight. You know, will Hamzad remain undefeated in that one? That'll be interesting to see. I'm also super excited for William Knight versus Alonzo Manfield. I think that one's got all kinds of potential fireworks. It could be a quick little match. Someone's definitely going out on their back in that one. We're gonna get another nasty highlight knockout, I feel. You know, I think you know, everyone needs to be sending Dana White and the matchmakers a big thank you, because this one should be on the pay-per-view card by all means. Also, I'm really excited for the Barcelos versus Hoja fight. I think that one's going to be another brawl, and it's going to be another fun one for sure. I don't know if anyone's going to get KO'd in that one, but if anyone does get KO'd, it's probably going to be Hoja. And I'm also really looking forward to the Dustin Jacoby and the Maxime Grisham fight. You know, not much is really known about these guys, but these guys definitely have some great striking ability between these two, and I think this has the potential to be a kickboxing match, you know, and should be a very fun one. Yeah, and you know, as for the main cards, the ones that I'm really most looking forward to is obviously the co and the main event. You know, I believe that we're going to get a couple of knockouts in those two fights there. And I've been looking forward to this Pedro Munoz versus Jaime Rivera fight for quite some time. I think that one stays on the feet, and that's going to be a 3-round war, another fun fight, another fun, entertaining one. it'll be fast pace, and you definitely don't want to miss that one. And I am also looking forward to the rubber match between Angela Hill and Ashley Yoder. It'll be interesting to see exactly if what has changed over the course of the years. All right, everyone. As always, I'm your host, Jeff, and thank you so much for chilling out with me today. And I will hit you up on Sunday, and we'll do a full fight breakdown. Well, Monday, that is. Peace.